Now that I'm back here, I realize that I have none of the intro footage, so I guess we'll just cut that out. But this was me just walking around with a camera and I had no quality. It will be better, I promise. So a big part of what I do when I'm filming any of my FPV videos is I have to walk through wherever place I'm at. So like if you guys watch the video, I'm sure I'm gonna link it here. You know, there's places like this that I have to go into and I have to figure out where I'm gonna fly and how I'm gonna fly to make it look nice and cinematic. Many people don't realize just though how much time it takes from getting here to walking around to setting up all your equipment and stuff like that. It really is something that takes a very long time. Now, after finding a sort of good route that I think I might want to take, I'll fly a few practice runs without the cinematic camera on it at first. So that would be just trying it out, seeing how I like it, trying out a few different things and seeing how everything goes. Initially, when I first came in here, I was actually worried that I would not have enough signal to reach all the way from back there, which is where I'm filming from down there to the tennis courts. It's a long time. So I figured what I could do is I could actually hide out in this elevator and film from there. And well, it turns out I didn't need that. So I didn't have to worry about that. An example of this would be like, do I want this sign in here? And do I want that sign in there? Can I get both of them in there? Or is it only one or the other? And another thing that I tried, but was not able to make was right here. I was trying to fly all the way through all of these things right here, and I was not able to make it. So practice makes perfect. Maybe someday I'll come back and do it. Now, depending on the size of the area that I'm at, it will depend on how long it takes me to get through the whole thing. For example, this place is huge. I can't remember how big it is, but you guys will see in the video, I was worried that by the time my drone got to the end, the other side, that it would be out of signal. However, instead, what ended up happening is I'm starting to get some battery sag. So by the end, the battery's already completely gone. Now, one of the more challenging shots of this whole thing is right here. So right here, you have this wall, and coming in or out, you're gonna have to turn around this wall and make two really tight turns without messing it up. That can be a challenge sometimes. Although I have to say, it's not the most nerve-wracking part of this whole thing. Probably the most nerve-wracking part is flying over water. Now, the drone will be fine in a couple of days. However, sometimes when you're on a shoot like this and you don't have a couple of days to wait and let your drone dry out, I have crashed in pools before, and the drone is fine. I had to replace this flight controller, which is about $60 part, which isn't too bad, and it could have been worse. However, that's why I always have a backup. Now, for this job, I have already broken my backup one. So one of the screws on the motor came loose, and the motor actually came off of the quad and totally destroyed all the propellers and the motor itself. So when I was actually trying to plan out the route, there was a tennis tournament down here, and I didn't know that. So I flew right in the middle of a tennis tournament, and they had to stop the tennis tournament because of that. Oops. One thing I absolutely love about the Genesis Health Clubs is all these logos around here. So these logos are wonderful to film, and it's nice to do some circles around them and some orbits. One thing though that I don't like, a lot of these rooms, they have one door that goes in and one door that goes out, and that's this one. And now that door back there is a storage closet. However, the issue with when there's only one door in and one door out, it just kind of seems boring if you fly in the same way and then fly out the same way. It doesn't make a lot of sense. This room right here was really boring and empty. So the only way I knew how to make it exciting was stack these benches on top of each other and just fly through it. And another way to make this a little bit more exciting was to fly all the way over there above the net and then come down and do another orbit around this giant Genesis logo in the middle of the basketball court. One thing about this whole thing though, these videos that render on, I think it's ReelSteadyGo Pro, which is a GoPro app that allows you to render the footage after it's already been shot rather than during, because it renders just a little bit better and the stabilization is much better. Before planning out an FPV route though, the most important part is to know what is the purpose of this whole video. Now, specifically for this video, the purpose was just to showcase the area and to attract more people who would potentially like to come to the gym. So for that, I wanted to showcase the strong points and maybe hide some of the not so strong points. So I actually was considering not even coming down here because of how much stuff was in the middle here. For a lot of these videos, the best thing that you can do is to have as little clutter as possible so everything looks so neat and organized. Now, of course, it doesn't always work out, but when it does, it makes the video just look that much better. Now, as you can see, this little motor here is actually held in by these screws right here. And during flight, it came loose, and now this motor is absolutely trashed, unfortunately. So I had to pull from a new quad and completely remove one of the motors and salvage it and actually put it in an old quad. One thing that I have to be careful though, because sometimes I'll end up taking so many shots that I'll be there. For example, this one, I think I was there till about 2 a.m. and that was when I was done just shooting, and I still had, I think, a 3-hour drive ahead of me. So I ended up just getting a hotel and sleeping there for the night and then just driving back the next day. But when you get to be that sleepy, you run into some issues of maybe you're not piloting as well. So sometimes it's nice to have some coffee. So now that all that is said and done, thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.